Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and it's very late tonight. It's my fault. Everything's my fault. I'm very grumpy right now because of the fact that we are an hour late getting this show started. It's dad life. My kids are determined to kill me one of these days. I think that's the whole point of everything. They're gonna kill me. I think that's where we're at. I'm glad everybody is still able to make it. I recognize it is way later than it's supposed to be. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us all to hang out together and to have a drink. So tell me what you're drinking. Jump on. Marco is having a Psychopathy. Lee is having a Ziegler Oktoberfest. Very fitting. We'll talk about why in a minute. Let's see. Julia is having Mirror Twin. The Oregon Pale. Okay. The Oregon Pale. Don't die of dysentery. Don't get trampled by a buffalo. Josh is having Age of Otters IPA from Three Floyds. Age of Otters, that's an IPA. It sounds very happy and cuddly for a Three Floyds IPA. It seems very like happy. I need a happy IPA right now. I'm very like grumpy. Like this is one of those instances where like this show just does not translate the way it's supposed to. When I started doing the Weekly Pint, it was like this it was this easy like kind of route to make shows happen during COVID when we weren't doing shows with other things, and it was great. And then now it's another show. It's another thing to put on the calendar, and sometimes things are not like. Things are not cohesive in the house. They're not conducive to making a podcast. And this was not a good night. It's just a grumpy night for everybody. And so now I'm in a weird mood. I'm realizing now I have beer sitting in front of me that I was going to drink, and now I'm realizing all of these other things that I was going to do on tonight's show that I'm not going to do. And I see them over there in the fridge, and yeah, maybe we'll do something later this week, or maybe I'll figure something out. I don't know. Eric is having a Lime Voss, just finished one. That's cool. Let's see. Julia says it's an otter holding an axe. I will accept that. That is a little more Three Floyds. So, all right, let me try to get myself mentally on task here. We're in the middle of Oktoberfest season. Not in the middle. We are at the very beginning of Oktoberfest season. Although there's a bunch of them out there. I currently right now in my fridge I have 10 of them. I know there are at least 3 more that I need to run around and grab to get in the fridge. I just need to find time to go get there and get them. So yeah, like within the next couple weeks, I'm going to guess there's going to be a good 15 or so Oktoberfest ready to go. We're in the middle of it. Beginning of it, middle of it, I don't know. First round is, it's not underway. I haven't done any showdowns yet. So is it really underway? We should get it underway, shouldn't we? That's right. I got 2 glasses. Let's get this thing underway. Oktoberfest Quest 2024 officially begins tonight. I have 2 previous winners that are going head to head. This is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a brutal one, a tough one for me. Maybe, I don't know. It always seems very tough, and then sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. We're gonna go big from the very beginning. We're gonna go with last year's winner. Sonder Oktoberfest, the champion. It's only fitting that they kick off this year's quest properly. This is Sonder Oktoberfest. It's not a Märzen, it's not a fest beer. It's somewhere kind of right in the middle. It's got new artwork this year. It's all fancy. It's great. Doesn't really tell me anything about the beer on it. Except that I can register for a 5K. I'm not going to do that. Do I have to do that to drink the beer? It doesn't say I have to do it. It just tells me I should do it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. It says German beer, food, music all day. 9:28. I'll be there. In theory, it's on my calendar. We'll see what happens with my family. They hate me, so maybe they'll prevent that. They'll find a way. Anyways, that's Sonder Oktoberfest. And do we have guesses? If you've been like reading my social media, you know what the other one is. What's the other beer? Somebody throw it out there. What's the next one? It's another previous winner. It is a fest beer. I'm sliding it to see if we can get it in before it goes in the camera. It is a fest beer. Let me see if I can read it without anybody seeing it. It is a German-style party lager. There we go. Julia got it. It is Listermann. 5.4% German party lager, which is my favorite style description for an Oktoberfest. This one does have a little description for it. It says, an annual Listermann staple, our fest beer honors Cincinnati's rich German history, brewed exclusively with Weyermann, Pilsner, Vienna, and Munich malts. It is the perfect lager to help you kick off the celebration. Prost. So it's a perfect lager to help me do this. All right, let's do it. All right. Actually, I can't zoom out because this is a different lens. Can't zoom on this lens at all, so we'll have to just figure out a way that you guys can see. You won't be able to see anything. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's not fine. I'm all like out of sorts and grumpy and my goodness. All right, we're going to go Listermann first. It's going to be on my right. I guess your left. Is that right? I don't know. It's weird. Camera angles don't make sense. All right, that's over here. Listermann on this side. Sonder on this side. If you're watching the video, I guess if you're listening to the podcast, just imagine whatever side you want. All right, this side here is Sonder, the reigning champion. It's been a few years since Listermann won. It was, I don't know, what, 2019, 2020? Julia says, say bathtub side or non-tub side. I was actually going to replace the tub this week with some kind of Steins or something as for some kind of Oktoberfest theme, but I just didn't quite get around to it. So I can tell you right off the bat, pouring the beers, Sonder has a little bit more of a head to it. It's a little foamier, a little frothier, and it's also a little more clear. I don't know if you guys can see that as much on the camera. The Listermann is definitely a lot lighter. Not a lot. It's lighter. It's more of a golden orange, whereas the Sonder comes out more kind of coppery. Lee says Oktoberfest. No, not Oktoberfest. Nope. I have that in the fridge too. Actually, it's upstairs in the garage fridge. I'm trying to build this year's quest a little more logically. I'm trying to only move beers down here into this fridge when they're ready to compete, and they're staying up in the garage fridge. As far as like a holding spot, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Once that one fills up, then we'll run into problems. Okay. Now that they've both been sitting for a minute, both heads on the beers have kind of gone away completely. All right, we're gonna even them up here. All right. Yep. Listermann's a little bit lighter, a little cloudier. As far as the color, you don't lose any points for that, but as far as the cloudiness, you do. There is a wide spectrum of what Oktoberfest means. We've talked about this every year. Fest beer to Märzen, there is a wide range. You don't have to be a dark beer. You don't have to be super malty. You can kind of find some place in the middle of the color spectrum. Oh, good Lord. The color spectrum. So I don't care about that. But your beer needs to be a bright, clear beer. It should not be hazy at all. And so Listermann loses a little bit with that. It's not bad. And that's I'm gonna dive into that one first. All right. All right, clear the nose. This is not the first Oktoberfest beer that I've had. I actually have had both of these beers on tap. So, all right, Prost. Let's get into this. Oh, this is the moment my life goes down the rabbit hole for the year. Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's bready, malty, a little bit of fruit. Let me get into the Sonder here. I can already tell you, just aroma-wise, Sonder is by far taking this one. It's it's almost a little bit hoppy though. There's like a good little earthy kind of thing going on that Listermann is definitely missing. Not that you need that to make a great Oktoberfest. All right, that's just me sniffing them both. All right, let's do this. Prost, everybody. Mm-hmm. Good beer, malty. It's not as carbonated as I was expecting it to be. And I don't know if that's like a thing for me. Like fest beer, I expect it to be a little bit hoppier, a little bit more fizzy than a Märzen. Not that Sonder is a Märzen, but by any stretch. But when you call it a fest beer, that's what I'm expecting from it. That's good beer. Yeah. That's a really good beer. Okay. Let's see where that is. I get it. This one here. It's a beautiful beer. All right, we'll see. Definitely a little bit hoppy. Yeah, a little bit hoppy. You know what? A little like a lot of bit hoppy. Oh, it's good though. Oh, it's good. Oh man, that's tough. That is definitely hoppier than I want it to be. Ooh, could we have our first upset? Oh man. I don't have dates on the Listermann that I can find quickly. The Sonder, it says 7/23. Oh, okay. The Sonder's a little hoppier than I want it to be. Okay. All right. Just when you think it's going to be easy, it's not. All right, let me clear my mind here. Let me dive in. I have to put myself in the mindset, which I'll explain in just a minute. Okay. This is the closest first round off the bat matchup that I think I've ever done. Not because the beers are similar. It's because I think the Sonder needs to sit for a little bit. I don't think it's ready yet. I think some of those hops need to kind of fade out just a little bit. This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to give it. Just by a nose, a little tiny itty bitty A little wiggle. I'm going to give it to Sonder, but it's by a hair. This Listerman almost beats out Sonder, not because I think it's a better beer, and that's where I get that I get hung up with this, because I think by far, I think the Sonder is a better Oktoberfest beer. I just don't think it's quite there yet, and that makes it really, really tough to judge, because I'm when I'm drinking it, I'm trying to put myself in a certain kind of mindset in a certain place, and knowing that the beer just needs another few weeks definitely makes it difficult. But I do think it's a better beer. I think it does taste better. It fits kind of my criteria for what I want for an Oktoberfest a little bit better, and I think it's going to be really, really good in a couple weeks. Not that the Listerman isn't. The Listerman is great, and it kind of sucks that they got knocked out in this first round, because it's a great beer. I do have, this is the first year that there is a system for who goes up against who. There's a seeding process. So obviously Sonder won last year, so they are a what I'm putting in the one tier as far as seeds. They're all of the finalists from last year are one seeds. It's not that crazy, the seeding process. One seeds are the finalists. Two seeds got eliminated the previous round, and then three seeds got eliminated the previous round, and then four seeds are everybody else. And then depending on when beers are released, that's the only kind of difficult part of it, is that there are some beers that are not released till a little bit later in the Oktoberfest season, and they are going to kind of get paired up with people later in that round, one way or the other. But everybody is going to be paired up with other people based on that seeding process, if that makes sense. So the highest seeds are going to get paired up with the low seeds. Julia says, will there be a chance for the beers that didn't make it to the next round to come back like you've done in previous years? We'll see. The only reason that exists in previous years is because the math doesn't add up, to keep it even numbers, to keep the bracket to make sense. If the bracket makes sense this year without it, no, I'm not gonna do it. If we need like another competitor later in the brackets, sure. So we'll see. It just depends who all is releasing Oktoberfest. There's been one so far new packaged Oktoberfest, and that's Alexandria, which I've tried that one this year already too, and it's great. It is full on like Märzen, like it's very different than I think a lot of the other Oktoberfests around town. I can't wait to put that in the bracket. But adding one may change things. But on that same token, so what are we losing from last year? North High no longer has a tap room here in Cincinnati, so their beer is not part of the bracket. So that just kind of cancels it out. Is there anybody else we've lost or that we've added? I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if there's people that did packaging last year that aren't doing it this year. I know, Third Eye, instead of just doing one Oktoberfest, they're now doing two. So that adds a whole other beer into the bracket. Like, I don't know. We may not have the odd number that we had last year. We will see. As of right now, I have, like I said, 10 in the fridge that are officially definitely part of the bracket, and I think there's it's not in my notes that are in front of me. I feel like there's like 5 or 6 more that have been released that I have to go pick up somewhere, that are definitely part of it might be more than that. It might be closer to 10 that are part of the bracket. Yeah, we'll see. To answer the question, I don't know yet. Marco says, I thought I had two different from Third Eye just last week. Yes, I did. I've tried both of them, and they're both great. they both deserve to be in the bracket. Maybe, just to be fun, the places that release more than one, maybe I'll make them compete against themselves for the first round. So you'll have, West Side Märzen versus West Side Festbier. You'll have, Third Eye versus Third Eye. Places like that. That's fun. I don't know if Northern Row is doing two different package one this year. This year they did two last year. They may just have one this year. I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited to see. It's always there's always those places like at the last minute that release one that I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were going to package that. I think I have to find a place for it in the bracket. So it's always last minute trying to figure out at the very end what's what. I did get to try the Lager House, their fest beer. I tried that right out of the fermenter the other day. I was over there for a meeting for some beer week stuff. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully we get that all figured out. And they had just racked their fest beer over into another fermenter, and I drank a bunch of that, and it was delicious. Like it's just like not even close. Like so, by far my favorite time of year. I get so excited as soon as I start drinking them, and I realize how much I enjoy them. Definitely a better drinker this time of year than pumpkin beer. Just putting it out there. Congrats to Sonder for moving on in the bracket. That's not to take away from Listermann. This is a great beer. Clearly, it's won before. The only reason that it paired up with last year's winner was because it got knocked out first round last year. So as of right now, we can go through this a little bit. The beers that are in my fridge that are one seeds right now, so that are finalists from last year, that's just in my fridge right now. We've got Sonder Oktoberfest, obviously, and then Mad Tree Ziegler. They were winner 2 years ago, finalists last year. It's in my fridge. It's ready to go. They are one seeds, two seeds that are in my fridge. And this is not the only two seeds that are out there, but just in my fridge, we have West Side's Märzen and Highwire's Zirkusfest, which is a really fun one because they got knocked out first round last year and then got kind of voted back in and did really well. Like it was a great beer, like a really, really good beer. So they're now a 2 seed this year. 3 seed, which I think is a sneaker kind of hanging out in this, is Rheingeist Franz. If I remember right, it was great last year. Kind of surprised me how good it was. So I'm curious to see how they do this year. I think a lot of that depends on who it gets paired up with, which is going to be, as a 3 seed, is going to be really interesting to kind of see how that works out. 4 seeds that are in the fridge, obviously Listermann was West 6th. Donka Chain, West 6th, is definitely in the competition again this year since they're opening their new tap room over in Covington. They were already a contender. They're there. We have Taft's Oktoberfest. I think Lee mentioned it earlier. I think I remember that one being a little bit surprising how good it was last year too, if I remember. We have 50 West Wienermobile. Again, that was one that got eliminated really strangely early last year. Who did? Let me pull up some notes here. Let me see who beat 50 West last year. Let's see. How can I search for this? It would be Oktoberfest Quest, right? Yep, right there. Okay. Let's see, round 1. I'm looking for a Wienermobile. It doesn't help. Oh, Braxton beat them in round 1. So again, like it's sometimes some of these matchups in previous years have just not been. You get two like heavy hitters that go up against each other, and it's not like this. It's not really fair. One of them is going to get knocked out, and they don't deserve to be. So that's what happened to 50 West last year, but that makes them a 4 seed this year. So hopefully that means that they will. I don't know. I guess it doesn't help them this year at all. It should be the opposite. They should get to go up against somebody that's easy. Another one. High Grain is in my fridge. They're now a 4 seed this year because they got knocked out early. None of it's fair. None of it makes sense. They should get some of these should get like easy ones. Who gets to go up against BJ's this year? That's the big question, because that's a quick pass into the next round if it's anything like it was last year. There was a couple last year that I remember just not being great. Definitely BJ's was not good last year. I don't remember Voodoo being great either. I hope they package again this year because it'll be another fun one to throw in there. It'd be fun if I could if everybody would release their Oktoberfest right at the same time. Just get them all out at the very end of July so that I can have them all right now. I could just fill the fridge, have every beer ready to go. And then you guys could vote on who competes against who. That'd be really, really cool. But I know that there are still going to be Oktoberfest beers, not just released this month, but that'll be released next month. And there's probably going to be 1 or 2 that get released at the very beginning of October because people are stubborn and don't really understand what Oktoberfest means. It's not supposed to be October. But they will. There will be somebody that releases an Oktoberfest in October, and I'll make it happen. I really was going to drink some Happy 2 beer today. That was full on intention of tonight's show. I have a barrel aged Imperial Stout sitting there staring at me. Actually, hang on, I'll show them to you. We got a couple of beers. We are not cracking them open, though, so don't even ask. So this one has been hanging out for a couple of years. This is Midnight Rickshaw. This is the barrel-aged Imperial Stout. This was... There's got to be a date on it somewhere here. Oh, yeah. This is the second run. 10/15/2022. There we go. So it's not that old. A couple years. Bottle 3 of 200. It's an Imperial Stout aged for 20 months in a New Riff Distilling rye bourbon barrel. God, that sounds good. I would drink it, but it's going to be too cold. It's been hanging out in the fridge down here. So there's that one. Was going to drink this. And then if you listened to this, yeah, Julia says, love that label. Very scary stories to tell in the dark. I remember those books very much. If you listen to this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast, you know that I was at Happy 2. They gifted me this one here. This is the Nullius Pilius. They're Nullius Filius. There is a story behind the name. It is an American strong ale aged for 15 months in bourbon barrels. In a bourbon barrel, to clarify. This is from about a year ago. 10%, 77 IBUs. So there's that one. I was going to drink one of these, but then my kids took over my life, and that's that. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I'm all distracted now. My brain isn't working properly because life. We didn't cuvee our Oktoberfest beers. All right, hang on. Let's even these out, and we'll do this the right way. To let everybody prepare themselves. If you watched last year's Oktoberfest quest, you remember that we ended the quest with the ultimate Cincinnati cuvee Oktoberfest. It's the ultimate Cincinnati Oktoberfest beer. I mixed. Well, my kid was here. My oldest was hanging out with me. We mixed about an ounce of every one of the 38 different Cincinnati Oktoberfest beers into one big giant boot, and then tried that and drank that, and it was good. And then me and the kid, we poked it with the beer poker, and it was glorious, and it was delicious, and it's coming back this year. I don't know all the details yet. I don't know when it's going to happen, or how it's going to happen, or who's going to be invited, or how that's going to work. Realistically, it's probably going to be here at my house, so the guest list will be small. But if you hang out on enough Weekly Pints, maybe you'll get an invite, and you can hang out and drink the ultimate Cincinnati Oktoberfest beer, and maybe even poke it. The goal is to, I don't know if I've got a container big enough to dump full beers into it, but a good chunk of a can of beer into some kind of big container with a spout on it, and we can kind of mix it all together, and everybody can pour off of that and drink it and poke or not poke or whatever they want to do with the beer. That's the goal. Last year it got a little crazy, and timing got weird, and then it was like, I think it was last month that we probably did that. So beer got old. It got tough. And Julia says, I'll bring over a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot. We've got plenty of those. 5 gallons is not enough. I'm not sure what the math works out to. All right, so let's look. If we had, my phone's going to die soon. Let's see. If we had 38 beers last year, most of them were 12 ounces. We'll go 14 ounces on the average. So 14, 32, and then how many gallons is that? We are looking. Okay, yeah, that would fit in a 5-gallon bucket. That would fit. It is around 4.156 gallons of beer, roughly, depending on how many 16 ounces like this versus 12 ounces like this we have. So yeah, you're looking at it's gonna be close to 5 gallons of beer. Which, come to think of it, so I've got we have one of those big, it's not a punch bowl, it's like one of those jug things that you make I don't know, iced tea or something in, and it's got the little spout on it. That's in my head what I was gonna use, but that might be too small. I don't know. The 2-liter boot with just an ounce on each one was already pretty full. But that's the idea. But with that being said, every showdown, hopefully, I'll remember to cuvee them to start off with, because I think that's fun. If these beers alone are delicious, why wouldn't they be even better together? All right, this is the Sonderman Oktoberfest. Prost. Okay. Yeah, it's great. It's great. The thing too about Oktoberfest beers, like all of these beers are they're close enough together that they all work cuvée. There's not a single local Oktoberfest that I can think of that wouldn't work with another one. Whether or not it makes it better is a question, but um, yeah, I can get behind that. Marco says I have my own homebrew bottling bucket that has a spout at the base. I've got one too. I actually I think that's my trash can underneath the bar right now. I think there's a spout on it. I know one of the buckets under the bar is a Home Depot bucket, like full on like Homer orange bucket. That one is for cans. And then there is a trash can bucket with a trash bag in it. And I think that one actually is the spout bucket, I believe. I don't know if the spout is still on it. It might have been taken off, so it might have just have the hole where there was a spout, but I don't know. We go down another rabbit hole. I know everybody's got to go to work tomorrow, so we can't go too late. We can. You can just leave when you want to leave. But the really exciting developments down here at the bar, down here in the basement of my house. We finally installed something really exciting. But, I mean, it's kind of depressing, too. I've been over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I've been trying to figure out a way to start going through my can collection. I've had, ever since Mad Tree canned their first beer, I decided I was going to collect cans, and I've collected a lot of cans since then, thousands of beer cans down here in the basement in different little corners and stuff. There's just a lot of cans. And I decided a couple years ago that needed to change. I couldn't display them all. It was not going to be, it wasn't going to work. I had this vision in my head at one time of what it was going to look like, and it's just not going to happen. So I've decided to refocus the collection, and I decided this a couple years ago, and it's taken me this long we're still not even close, that I was going to shift the collection to just lager beer. And the only cans I'm saving are new lager beer cans. So this Sonder can, this is a new can design for this year. So one of these will be saved to go to the collection. On the flip side, this Listermann can, this is the exact same label as last year. I'm not going to save this one. And any kind of bottles or ales or anything like that, those are not going to be saved unless it's something that means something to me for some other crazy reason. But those are very few and far between. Anyways, so now I'm faced with hundreds of cans that I have to get rid of, and so I'm saving some of the labels. I have in the far side of the basement. There's a stage. For anybody who's been here knows kind of the layout of the basement. There's a stage down there. The entire actual stage part of the stage is going to be covered in beer labels, which is a very big undertaking within itself for a couple different reasons, which we'll talk about. But we're in the process of that, of pulling off labels that are fun labels and putting them on there. Once it's covered, then it gets easy that we can just cover up other things as cool labels come in. But for now, we have to cover the entire thing with labels. So again, hundreds of labels need to be saved and peeled off and put on there, which old labels, there are some that are actually very upsetting. I've accepted the fact that I'm getting rid of the can, and so I take it and I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to save the label. And then you start to peel it and you realize that at this point, with the label being either whatever they were making labels out of then, or however long it's sat, or whatever, some of them just don't peel off good, and you just have to very quickly decide, all right, it's done. I'm not going to fight it. It's gone. And so there's a lot of cans that I'll start to peel, and you can't save them. And it's like, okay, it's done, and you just get rid of it. Or printed cans. There's a lot of like printed cans that like I have a hard time getting rid of them. Like weird ones, like Identity Crisis from Mad Tree. I love that can. Love it. It doesn't really particularly mean something to me, so it's not going to be part of the collection. But I haven't gotten rid of it yet. It's still sitting there, and like I'll get back to it. Like there's a lot of those that like have to like get back to, like a lot. It's strange. And like you come across like beers that like you forgot about, and then it's like, oh man, like, and as soon as you pick up the can, like it's almost like this like weird like time warp thing that like takes you back to that, which is what I love about collecting cans. Is that like you can just look at one and you remember the beer and you remember where you were when you drank it and you remember like the story behind it. Like it just takes you to that thing. There's just too many of them. So it's difficult trying to manage all that. But the reason I brought all of this up is because I finally installed in like the back of the basement, like in the storage room. You can't see it from like the bar or anything. A can crusher. Like it's like one of those things that goes on the wall with like a handle, and it's got this little hopper on top of it, and you just put a bunch of cans inside this hopper, and then you just and just crush them all. And it is like the most like fulfilling thing ever, like just crushing cans. But at the same time, like when you see them all like feeding down the hopper, it's like these memory. It's also like it's terrible. It's so difficult. But that's where I'm at right now in the basement. That's been the big development right now. Is we're crushing cans at a speed that has never been seen before here in my house. We're just destroying memories. Hopefully it's all for the best. I have plans figured out for some shelves around the basement of where can shelves are going to go. I would love for for every lager can to be able to be displayed properly down here. I think we might still have too many. I don't know. I don't know until we're like really diving into it. I've gone back and forth in previous years. I'm going to open one of these beers. I don't care. Whatever. It's Big Sis Week. It's a party. We didn't even talk about that. I've had this idea. I've gone back and forth over the years about on the business side of my life. If I'm ever going to open like a studio, like an actual studio space, and I've done the math like 10,000 times trying to figure out if it makes sense or not to do it. There is nothing I can't shoot or record or do here in the basement. Like this space that I've built down here works almost perfect for me. Like it's a little cramped sometimes, especially when it comes to shooting. There's a lot of times that I have to move things out there to actually shoot things. This room is not very big at all. This is like 12 by 14 maybe. Like it's not a very big room. that might be an exaggeration. Like it's not very big. So if I want to shoot something, I usually have to shoot it out there. And out there is also kind of like it's living space. Like we hang out out there, or at least I hang out down there. There's still, sometimes there's laundry baskets. There's just shit that happens out there. So if I want to shoot, sometimes it's a little harder. It would be nice to have a studio space to avoid those problems, or to have things that are just always set up. Especially when it comes to like podcasting stuff. It would be nice to have like a permanent podcasting studio. This is fine for live streaming. This is not a podcast studio. It was at one time, kind of, but it's not. I can fit one person in here. If I go to lighting and cameras and all that stuff, it's not going to work. It has to be like shifted and changed. that'll fix out there a little bit of long story. It would be nice to have a space that was always set up for a decent sized podcast. With that, it would also be nice to have space that I could rent out for other people to make their podcasts. I would love to have a space that, like, if somebody's trying to get a podcast started and they don't have equipment or a space or any idea of how to do it, that I could give that to them or have that space that they can come in and make that happen. But I just don't know if it makes sense monetarily speaking. The reason I'm talking about all this is that in my head, at one time, I had this vision of this studio space, and part of that studio space was a wall that just housed all of the beer cans. And so you could be like sitting, and then behind you, the background is just a giant wall of Cincinnati beer cans. And it would look so cool, and it would be something that nobody else could do, because there is no way that anybody else. I mean, there's probably a couple people that have saved cans the way I have, but it would be cool. It would be unique. It would be fun. It would be very me. But I've come to accept over the last couple of years that that's probably not going to happen, or it's not going to happen in that way. If there's a studio space, it's going to look very, very different. All right, let's pour this beer since I opened it. This is the Nullius Filius. All right. Again, there is a story, not mine to tell. All right, this is a big old beer. This is strong ale, is what they call it. Aged for 15 months in bourbon barrels. This was a gift. I did not buy this beer. All right. Hazy orange. Little foamy head on it. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, there's a lot of like citrus going on there. I was expecting to be a little older spelling. This is from a little more than a year ago, and yet still a lot of citrus. It does have that kind of reminds me of a little bit of like aged homebrew kind of thing. That's I guess yeast is the best I can describe it as. Oh, it smells good. All right. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh yeah, that's boozy. Oh, that's good beer. Oh yeah. It's boozy, but not like it doesn't have like a harsh kind of boozy bite to it. It's just a big kind of sweet booze, if that makes sense. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's nicely done. That smells great. Like a toffee bourbon, like some kind of bourbon dessert kind of thing. Oh yeah. Super fizzy though too, so that kind of cuts through all of that. Like it doesn't sit too long, kind of on the palate. I like that. I like that a lot. That's a good beer. Really well done. Good job, Happy too. I'm happy to drink that. That's bad. Happy to drink it. Yeah, if you guys have not been out to Happy 2 in a while or ever, get out there. Listen to this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast if you haven't already, because they're good people doing things a little differently than what a lot of folks are these days, and I always kind of appreciate that. Somebody that kind of does it their own way. For whatever their reasoning is. I like when people kind of buck the trend and don't listen to what they're supposed to do. I like that. So get out there and support them and go try the beer because the beer is very good. With that, we've got lots of other fun stuff happening. I will be out at Listerman for next week's episode of Cincy Brewcast. But knock on wood, it's on the calendar. We'll see how that works. I've also got some Drinking with the Gnome stuff that I've been working on slowly. I've been hung up very heavily in this month's crazy, what did I call it? The Dog Days of Summer bar breakdown something or other. I don't know what I called it last week, but it's been busy trying to stay up on top of all of that and keep these articles about bars coming out every day this month. But we've stayed up with it so far. Every day this month we have posted a new blog post about a new bar or a bar that I've not talked about yet. As Marco pointed out, you can't get to them the normal way that you would go if you just go to the website and find an article, because when you go to the website and find an article right now, it's all about beer. When you go to the website, the very beginning is about beer, and then you get into distilleries and spirits and things like that. There is no main section for bars yet. Part of the reason that I'm doing this month is to start to build up that section of the website. I think it's an important part of the website. It's been kind of being built up over the last few years, but it wasn't happening as fast as I wanted it to happen. So I gave myself this challenge to kick it up a notch, and it's going good. So within the next year or so, you'll see another pretty significant change to the homepage of thegnarlygnome.com, where you'll start to see some more bar content, bar news, and things like that. Julia says, go to the address bar and delete everything past the year and month. So everything to the right of 2024. Oh wait, that'll do that. That'll get you to everything that I've written this month. That'll give you everything, all the recent posts. There's an easier way. You can just go to at the very in the menu, depending on, so if you're on mobile, it's different than if you're on like a computer. But the menu, wherever you see the menu, go to that and click on bars. And then the first section that pops up is the latest bar news, which I have not updated for a little while. That's where we're going to see a lot of action over the next 6 months or so. But underneath of that, it gives you a breakdown of every bar that I've written about. And that's where you'll see all of the new posts. They're just not organized. We'll get there. Julia says, why do things the easy way when you can do them the hard and convoluted way? See, here's the, behind the scenes, if we really want to dive into it, which it's not very exciting. The articles that I'm writing this month are not really I don't view them as blog posts. They're not it's not news. It's not like something that's happening. It's not a new experience. This is I don't want to call them reviews, but this is just information about a bar. This is the base part about that bar. When something happens with that bar, when there's an event or something fun or some kind of article that's actually written about them, that goes into a whole different section, and that is something that you would see. This is like the home page for that bar on the website, if that makes sense. There's these exist for almost every brewery too. You just don't see them. If you go to thegnarlygnome.com/urban artifact, it probably takes you to some kind of post that you've never seen before, because it's a post that just tells you who Urban Artifact is. That's what I'm writing right now about all these bars, is who they are. Those become then kind of a page that underneath of that, there'll be other things that kind of start to fall. if that makes any sense. And Urban Artifact might be the one example that may not actually work. Let's see. I'm going to look it up right now. www.thegnarlygnome.com/urban artifact. It would help if I could read anything. That didn't work for me, but it could be that I wrote it wrong. Yeah, I think I wrote something wrong. /urban art. Let's see what comes up for that. No, that one didn't work. All right, let's do. Like I said, that was probably. Oh, no, that worked. Yeah. So if you do that, if you go to thegnarlygnome.com/urban artifact, it pulls up a blog post, which is God knows how long, that needs updated. See, that's the next thing, too. Like every page like that for breweries just need fixed. They need updated. They need. Yeah, this is bad. It's fine, but. So it's supposed to pull up a page that gives you kind of a breakdown of who the brewery is, or who the we'll call it the place, the brewery, the distillery, the bar, restaurant, whatever it is. It gives you a breakdown of who they are, what your experience is when you go there, what you're drinking when you go there, and then for me right now, probably just breweries. That may change in the future. Like a full-on timeline of who they are, where they came to be, and how that all kind of factored in. That's there a little bit with Urban, but not quite. The timeline cuts off on November of 2017, so that's how far behind I am on some of this stuff. That's why I don't talk about it this much. But then underneath of that, you see, if you're looking at this right now, you get a breakdown of all of the news posts about that place. So for Urban, it shows you the pickle article that I wrote recently. Then it goes into the Untapped Community Awards was the last time that I talked about them, evidently, when they released their non-alcoholic stuff. Why I haven't written about the Costalo. That's a whole other question. But ideally, in my head, the way it should work is that you should have a spot where you can go to, you click on any bar or any brewery or any distillery or any place where you go drink in the city. You click on it. It tells you what it is. You see pictures of it. You see like a good breakdown of like what that experience is when you go there and why you would go there, why you would not go there. And then you should get like the latest like news about that spot and about whatever relates to that. And you should be able to just like find that in one little like easy to find spot. That's what I'm working towards. These are not normal blog posts that I'm writing. They are they're building blocks to something very, very big that will take me years and years and years to finally get built. But we're getting there. Little bits at a time, we are getting there. I think, and I'm obviously biased, but I think that my website right now is the best resource for anybody that likes to drink in the city. I think it is there's the most information there, and it's it's real kind of experience about drinking, and that's hard to find other places. And I look to keep building that and making it better. I'm proud of what we've done kind of together as a team, because you guys are a part of that too. With that being said, I like the longer form articles that I'm able to do from time to time. My time is being sucked up a lot lately with things like that are small that nobody else will ever notice. Just building out the core of this website, or making things like Cincy Beer Week or podcasts or things like that. That's the majority of where I'm like focused on right now, especially on the website side. Like, it's a lot of like building blocks. There will be a change coming. I shouldn't say there will. Hopefully, there will be a change coming in the next year to year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around there, where I will probably start accepting guest posts on the website. Probably, maybe, possibly, maybe. I'm still kind of on the fence about it, and trying to figure out the math to make it make sense. The hard part is that I will never accept guest posts unless I'm paying people properly for what they write. And in order to pay writers to come in and write good articles, I got to keep building kind of the foundation of all of this. We're getting way into the weeds with this. Everything that I do has to at some point either turn a profit or come very close to turning a profit. That's very, very, very important right now, with how my business is structured. Everything has to make sense, and the website is doing great, but not that great that I can justify dumping a bunch of money into it. There are other places that are generating enough money that we could, but it's not the website. The website is just doing okay. So once I figured that out, we can start to expand a little bit and bring in some other writers and stuff. We'll see. It's we're getting there. But we're getting there. There is a really cool foundation that has been built, that once some other things get straightened out, it'll be awesome. Marco says, I could pay them with tubular meats. I do like tubular meats. Or Julia says, or Dick's, which are potato chips. For everybody that does not understand, Dick's potato chips, the best potato chips in Cincinnati. They are good chips. Anyways, let's wrap this thing up, because I gotta get up tomorrow morning and go single-handedly brew Big Sis. That's what I do. I work really hard to make this beer every year. It's a joke, guys, because I don't really do that much work when it comes to Big Sis. But we are brewing it tomorrow. We're brewing it at Darkness. If anybody has not heard about that, go to cincybeerweek.com. We're tapping it at the very end of Beer Week, like the 12th or 13th or 12th. I think it's the 12th. Whatever that Saturday is. Go to the website. Go to cincybeerweek.com. The tapping party is on the schedule there. But we're making it tomorrow, and it's going to be awesome, because I will not do that much. I will just do whatever they tell me to do. If they tell me to dump a bucket of hops, I'll dump a bucket of hops. If they tell me to not touch anything, I'll just not touch anything. So but either way, I got to get up early tomorrow and got to get the kid off to school in the morning. The other one hasn't started preschool yet, so he just hangs out and yells. But the oldest one, yeah, she's got to get on the bus in the morning, and I think I've only missed one bus day, if I remember right, because I was sick or something. I don't remember. I think I've missed one day of putting her on the bus. I've been there for every other day, and I'm not going to miss it tomorrow. So, yeah, I got to go to bed. Cheers, everybody. Marco says, I have a meeting in the morning. would be there. That's fine. Maybe we'll run into each other at some point tomorrow. We'll see. If not, I'll make fun of you for not being there. Julia says, cheers everybody, and hoo-day to Orange Pants. I'm on the fence about Orange Pants. I got to see them in person before I make up my mind. I just, at this point, I'm refraining from cheering about anything too heartily because I'm terrified about everything. I just need everybody to stay healthy and okay as much as they can. Mims needs to heal his pecs or whatever is going on. I don't know. Just need everybody happy and healthy. That's what we need. But hoo-day, I will give a hoo-day. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm sorry that tonight was later than it was supposed to be. Again, it is definitely my family's fault. Everything is my family's fault. Julia says Lily broke this boob. Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News says it just got off work, tuning in for the first time in weeks. Well, welcome back. You missed everything. We drank a bunch of Oktoberfest and some kind of barrel-aged something that is probably going to keep me up for now hours. And then we talked about the Bengals because they're the best Ohio football team. We'll just throw that out there. I love everybody. Thank you all for hanging out with me. We will definitely be back next week. Maybe there will be some other video content this week. I've got like a big like vlog that I've been working on for many weeks. We went on vacation up to Sandusky and I started recording something. And there's content from that I'm trying to mix in with something else, and then there's Belgian beer that's happening, and all kinds of crap. Like so I'm trying to make it all make sense and still keep it timely. And it's like every week that goes by, it just gets harder. And then you have to add something else, or you have to change something, and like it's very difficult. Like today, I was really proud of myself. Like I was looking at the list of things I needed to get done today, and I'm like, oh, I got all that done. And then I'm like, oh, but I didn't even touch that video that I've been wanting to get done. And like, there's just a lot of that, like a lot of things that you could do that I just can't do. So stay tuned. There will be something. I'm working on some other scheduling things to try to figure out a way to keep making some other video content. I'm happy that I'm able to make this show happen every week. That's the best I can do sometimes. Let's see. Julia says it's no better. I kid, kind of. That's fine. Packers are. I can get behind the Packers versus the. You know what? The Browns. Like as much as I'm not a Browns fan, I also can't shit on the Browns. Like that is like the one team that like I get the pain. Like I feel it very deeply. If they were in it and we're not that I would root for them, but I certainly wouldn't root against them. Like I get it. I get the pain as far as Browns fans go. Like I know there's a few Browns fans that do listen to this show, so no hate against the Browns. However, if you're a Steelers fan, you can just tune the hell out. That's what I say about that. That's it's Cleveland fans period. Yeah, Ohio sports period. Ohio sports are tough unless you're a Buckeyes fan, I guess. The rest of us, we understand losing. We'll be back next week. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for hanging out. Go drink some local beer, whatever that means to you. No matter where you are, just go drink something local, and hopefully it's festy this time of year because it is Oktoberfest season. I don't care what anybody else says. It's Oktoberfest season, not pumpkin season. We'll see you guys. Thanks. All right, serious note, nobody should keep sexual predators on their teams at all. It's not even fun. Don't do it. Hooday!